part of the plan. And I can only say, imagine what it would be like for you to be in the year 1750. Millions and millions of people will die. They will die from lack of electricity, lack of food, and lack of water, because they will believe that water is a limited resource, and most areas now have, as I said earlier, the wireless water meters already deployed. The water will be allocated here in California. The goal is, I believe it's by 2022, to allocate 50 gallons of water per day per person. And that is not enough water usage to have an outside garden. In fact, you can't even have outdoor plants at all. Now, keep in mind the killing of all the trees and the killing of all the plants and all the plastic grass and all the gravel that is now replaced in people's yards. That's cutting down the oxygen supply. They're killing the plants, we're taking out the plants, and we need the plants as a carbon sink. They create the oxygen that we need to breathe. People do not understand what is happening. I drive around California and other areas, and I just see nothing but gravel in many yards, and maybe a few native grasses. And many times we're told that we're not to use water at all. Well, here in California, we are heading in to what they call a mega drought. In fact, the entire western United States is now, we're being told we're getting into a mega drought. So let's talk about what that means, because this is an alert, this is a warning. Your firefighters are only going to be evacuating people now, only, because the fires are too hot and too fast, and they don't have the equipment. And so this is a fire warning to everyone that is listening. These are plans to burn us up from 2020 and beyond, and we need to prepare. This is what was in my newspaper, dated April the 18th of 2020, and this was a Washington Post article. It says, climate change study says phenomenon is worst impact observed in U.S. in the past 1,200 years. They say a vast region of the United States, extending not only from California, Arizona, New Mexico, north to Oregon, Idaho, and more, is in the grips of the first climate change-induced mega drought observed in the past 1,200 years, a new study shows. The findings mean that this phenomenon is no longer a threat to millions to worry about in the future, but it is already here. The mega drought, they tell us, has emerged while thirsty, expanding cities are on a collision course with water demands of farmers and environmental interest, posing nightmare scenarios for water managers in fast-growing states. Now, I want you to remember, we have primary water. We have all the water we need, and we are being told we're running out of water. They go on to tell us what the definition of a mega drought is. They say a mega drought is broadly defined as a severe drought that occurs across a broad region for a long duration, typically multiple decades. Multiple decades. So you need to ask yourself, the firefighters are being told to evacuate only. That's what we've experienced in the last several fires here in Northern California. They drive through our roads with a high-low siren, which is telling us to evacuate immediately. As I said earlier, nearly 200,000 people in my area were evacuated in November of 2019. Now, I will tell you, we were supposed to evacuate, but many of us did not. Why didn't we? We were prepared as we could be. We had a meeting with a retired fire captain who gave us many important tips on how to harden up our homes and to withstand some of the fires that would come down upon us, particularly embers that can be blown, and they are, for many miles. And so we had sprinklers on our roofs. We plugged up our downspouts so the water would stay in the gutters. We accessed enough water. Many people in my area are on wells, so we had fire hoses, ample water, pressure regulators. We had generators. And we had rainbirds. We were dampening down the sides of our property and our homes and our decks. We took away all the front doormats, all the umbrellas, anything that could burn, that an ember could burn. We raked away mulch. There were many things that we did in advance, and we had this meeting only 2 weeks before the fire started. And this meeting is up on stopthecrime.net. I forget what I call it, but I posted it. It would have been like October of 2019. Again, it was just 2 weeks prior to the fire actually happening. So you asked me, Jenna, what can we do? It's up to us. It's really up to us to try to save our homes, because I will tell you what it looked like here for people that ran from their homes because they weren't prepared. They did not know that these were fires that were created by our government, by the utility companies, and they also sent in truckloads, van loads of people from the Bay Area here to Northern California in 2017 to run through the neighborhoods and loot the homes that had not yet burned, and also to start fires around the perimeter. This was all a staged assault and attack. And they had multiple weapons systems in place. And at the time that we were burning on October 8th of 2017, we did not know this was an attack. But many, many people saw the lasers in the sky. They didn't know what that was either. And the same thing happened in Paradise, where close to 90-some-odd% of Paradise was burned up in 2018. And then again, the same attacks here in 2019. In fact, when you go to the video that I have up dated, called Fires, This is War, you will see us going through the Kincaid Fire Burn Zone, or the War Zone as I call it. We were tracked and followed by black helicopters and by planes. And you'll see that at the very end of the video. I think the video is only 15 minutes long, and certainly I would like everybody to see this. We are going to be tracked and monitored as a result of this lockdown.